Good afternoon. We live in an age where appearance is everything. Marketing campaigns, social media, YouTube, everywhere we look, we see models with beautifully made up faces, slim bodies, and so-called perfect body shapes. Now, this has had a massive impact on the number of people undergoing plastic surgery to improve their look. In many countries, however, the UK included, plastic surgery can cost an arm and a leg. Therefore, many people are now choosing to go abroad, and this is what we call medical tourism. The lure of low-cost surgery, often combined with a holiday, has encouraged many people to go under the knife abroad. However, there are many risks to doing this, which can have long-lasting effects. According to Patients Beyond Borders, which is a book about medical tourism, this type of tourism is increasing annually by between 15 to 25%. The main reason, of course, is the cost. A woman opting for a breast augmentation could save thousands by choosing a surgeon in Malaysia, for example, rather than the UK. Very often, these health clinics abroad offer a package deal, which is surgery and a holiday. However, these two things do not go hand in hand. There are many risks to be aware of when considering surgery abroad. Unfortunately, in the UK, there has recently been a few deaths of citizens who opted to travel abroad for operations. A BBC article from September last year told the story, a very tragic story, of Leah Cambridge, a 29-year-old mother of 3 who reportedly travelled to Turkey for a Brazilian butt lift, or a BBL. Now, this procedure consists of taking fat from another part of the body, such as the stomach, and injecting it into the buttocks. It's highly risky. Sadly, Leah suffered 3 heart attacks while under anaesthetic and died. There was also another woman in this article who was anonymous, who said that after her BBL surgery in Turkey, she had infected holes in her buttocks. The British Association of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons, or BAPS, published a press release at the end of last year stating that BBL has the highest death rate of all cosmetic surgeries. And in fact, 1 person out of every 3,000 will die from this procedure. They blame the rise in demand for this kind of surgery on celebrities such as Kim Kardashian and Nicki Minaj, who happily flaunt their derrieres on social media. However, there are other risks involved with going under the knife abroad. Some clinics don't provide aftercare or follow-up treatment, so it's treated just as a one-off procedure, which can have a detrimental effect later on because it is essential that patients are closely monitored by their surgeon after the operation. There are also risks related to travelling home after the surgery. For example, there's a higher chance of developing deep vein thrombosis or developing a pulmonary embolism on the flight back. And this is something that a lot of people aren't aware of, just the simple risks of flying home after the surgery. The British Association of Plastic, Reconstructive and Aesthetic Surgeons, or BAPRAS, recommends that you fly home between 5 to 10 days after the surgery, depending on the chosen procedure. Now, not only are there risks for the patient, but medical tourism is also having a damaging effect on the NHS, which is already under immense strain. In a press release from October 2018, BAPS stated that, and I quote, "As many as 4 out of 5 plastic surgeons in recent years have noted a wild increase in patients requiring revision after botched cosmetic surgery abroad." One study showed that these patients who require revision stayed in hospital for an average of 20 days, which cost the hospital just under £32,500. Interestingly, this study also found that many of these patients who went abroad were not actually eligible for the chosen surgery in the UK. This is a really worrying trend that can have terrible effects on the patients themselves, but it's also severely impacting an already struggling NHS. Unfortunately, medical tourism will probably continue to flourish in the future, especially with the rise of social media stars and influencers and reality TV such as Love Island, which is incredibly popular in the UK. BACBRAS have made several recommendations with regards to what you should look for if you choose to have surgery abroad, and let me tell you them now. Firstly, you should do as much research as possible on the surgeon, including their experience, how many years they've been practicing, and whether or not they are actually properly qualified. As a rule of thumb, you should try to meet them at least twice if possible before the surgery. Secondly, research the clinic. You can ask to speak to previous patients about their experiences. Check out the facilities and ask to see before and after photos of previous patient surgeries. More importantly, it's a good idea to ask whether a doctor is always present in case of problems and whether or not they have a high dependency or intensive care unit. Thirdly, inquire about the surgery itself, including who will be in the surgical team, what the risks are, and what the complication rates are for the type of surgery that you've chosen. Furthermore, it's strongly advised to inquire about aftercare. What happens if there is a problem post-surgery? Who will be responsible for any complications which may arise? And will you have to foot the bill? Finally, insurance. Ask if there's a body which regulates the clinic to ensure that it meets the minimum standards of care and treatment. But in any case, you should really look for full medical and travel insurance in case anything goes wrong. And just make sure that you read the fine print, as not all types of surgery will be included in insurance. To conclude, medical tourism is a growing trend and it looks set to continue to grow in the future. For anyone who's considering going under the knife abroad, it's vital to do as much research as possible before you book anything. Ensure that you feel 100% comfortable before you fly off. Now, I might not agree with plastic surgery, but for anyone planning on a surgery trip abroad, let me just say one thing: break a leg. Thank you.